Hey everyone, it's Tim here, and before we begin today's episode, I just want to acknowledge the COVID-19 situation, which is rapidly changing and affecting all of us around the world right now. In fact, the situation has changed so fast that many of us are now facing lockdowns in our countries and have been forced to move all our teaching online in a very short space of time. While the changes may seem daunting, teachers around the world have embraced this new reality, and while finding the transition exhausting at times, we're hearing many reports of teachers who are enjoying the experience. On the blog, we've got our expert roundup of online teaching resources, and our YouTube and Facebook streams will be of particular interest to those of you teaching with Zoom and exploring multi-camera setups and software like ManyCam. And over at topmusicpro.com, we've released a brand new online teaching workshop for our members, and I'm recording as many tutorial and problem-solving videos there as I possibly can. If you've got any questions, please reach out to us on social or email support@topmusic.co. Rest assured, the Top Music community is here to help support and guide all of you through this challenging period. Keep up the great work, stay positive, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. Welcome back to the Topcast, your weekly home for inspiration, lesson ideas, and support for your music teaching studio. You're listening to episode number 183, and a very special welcome to my Top Music Pro teachers. Now, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to let you know quickly that we're right in the middle of Online Teaching Month on the blog and YouTube and in Top Music Pro membership. So if this is a topic that you're interested in, and it has become more popular in the last year or so, then make sure you head over to the blog for some helpful resources. And what we're talking about with online teaching is being able to present lessons to students online, so via Skype or Zoom or even FaceTime, and to be able to offer lessons to students who can't otherwise be with you in person in the studio. That might be because they're sick or because of bad weather, or maybe they're in another country and maybe you're teaching them in a different time zone to fill in some time during the day. There are so many approaches you can use, and there are great strategies and tactics to get around some of those questions that people often have regarding what technology to use, how to deal with lag and delay and bad internet connections, and also how to approach lessons when you can't point at things in books and you can't physically show students where to put their hands and things like that. So there's lots of ways you can get around those questions, but if they are questions on your mind, then make sure you head over to YouTube and the blog to find out more. Speaking of all things online, in today's episode, we're unpacking a little bit about Instagram. And in today's podcast, we're featuring another one of our fantastic Piano Pivot Live speakers, this time Ruth Power from New Zealand. And her topic was Value Drive, how to attract your dream students through Instagram. And Ruth was actually our last speaker on day one. And what most of our delegates wouldn't know was that this is actually one of the first times Ruth had ever presented on stage. And I tell you what, she really blew everyone away, both with her approach, her slides, her energy, her style, but also with the content. And you're about to hear some of that now. So in this session, Ruth was talking about Instagram, and this is how she presented the session to the delegate. She said, "Stop wasting time merely existing on Instagram and gain control of the platform to strategically communicate your unique personal and business values. In this workshop, you'll discover your unique Instagram feed formula to attract and nurture dream students and expand your studio without a marketing budget." Sounds pretty good, right? And I know lots of teachers are on Instagram, but if you're not actually being able to convert any of those students and eyeballs and parents who are looking at your feed or your Instagram page into actual trial students and hopefully real students, then Ruth has some tips and strategies for you. So Ruth Power is a music publishing editor, piano course creator, and digital content queen from New Zealand with a mission to develop creative pianists in her community, pianopicnic.com. Ruth has developed music education resources for 11 years, including Rocket Piano, which taught 90,000 students, and worked with top publishers including Ryan Gold Education, Rock School UK, Music Sales, and Musical U, where she is the resident piano pro. Ruth established Piano Picnic in 2016, and it's a piano learning hub with snackable lessons inspired by micro training. Ruth teaches over 1,000 students with the creative skills of playing by ear from a lead sheet, riffing and improvising. And here on the Piano Pivot Live stage is Ruth Power. Enjoy.
Who follows me on Instagram? Anyone? Yeah, okay. If you noticed that it suddenly started looking a whole lot better middle of last year? It's because an ex-speaker took over. So Ruth actually looks after my Instagram, and all of that fabulous stuff that you see, she makes look incredible, and she's the driving force behind a lot of the Instagram imagery and stuff that I have on there. If it's a picture of me or my cat, that's me. And they still perform the best out of all of the work that we do. Pictures of Bronson. So Ruth Power is a music publishing editor turned online piano course creator turned digital content queen from New Zealand with a mission to nurture natural and confident pianists in her online community, pianopicnic.com, and travel the world while doing it. And Ruth spent a few months in Vietnam actually last year, which was pretty cool, running her business from a new location. So in this presentation, you'll be inspired to hear her journey from editing sheet music in a corporate office to teaching piano online while traveling the world and working for great people like me. Who wrote this? That's great. Here to inspire you to take the plunge and do something different, particularly with your social media. Please welcome Ruth Power.
I am Ruth Power. It's true. I live in New Zealand in a tiny little beach town called Raglan. And it's tough, but someone's got to do it. The call went out for people to live in a small beach town and have an online business teaching piano, and I answered the call. So, yes, girl, yes. Great. So there was, I should click the thing. That's me on the beach. It's black sand. So there was one thing that was a fabulous intro, by the way. Thank you, Tim. There was one thing that he didn't know to mention, which is that I had a brief stint when I was younger as a hip-hop dance choreographer. He wasn't to know. So what I'd like us to do now is to stand up, and I've just got a little routine prepared. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you guys. But what I do want to do is was it Carly who did the same thing, I think, at the start of the day? I'm going to ask some questions, and if the answer is yes, you can stay standing. And if the answer is no, I'd like you to just do a little move, like a dab or something, or like something cool, something that represents you or whatever. And then sit down, please. Okay? We're ready. Who's already got their move sorted? Yes, good. I like it. We're all going to watch you. Okay. So the first question, stay standing if you currently use Instagram. And by use, that's a loose term. If you have an account with Instagram. A few people sat down. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so most of us. Okay. So second question is, you use Instagram for your business. Yes, I love it. Oh, yes, got such good moves. I didn't know piano teachers were good dancers as well. Okay, so that kind of whittled it down. Okay. And the next one is, do you post every single week? Wow, this is so cool. And you post daily? Yes, queens, I love it. Okay, now you guys can sit down as well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're back up. Schedule post. Cool. Fantastic. So, and the last question is, and if you answer yes to this, then please stand up. Doing a move along the way, if you're so inclined, is who's gained a new student through... Yes. Yes, cool, awesome. And I accept, by the way, if someone has contacted you through a different means, but they said they found you on Instagram. Is it anyone new? Fantastic, thank you so much. A round of applause for those people, that's awesome. So hopefully today, with some of the things I'm going to talk about, we can get more of you guys getting new students, not only new students through Instagram, but dream students, the kind of students that you wish that you could get, right? I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and this is just really for your own reference. I just wanted us to take a snapshot of where our heads are at the moment, and then by the end of the talk, hopefully things might have changed a little bit. So the first question is, what do you hope to get from this workshop? And the second question is Instagram a valuable use of your time? That's purely your opinion. as it stands right now. Now, I'm not going to embarrass myself by asking anyone the answer to that question, but hopefully after a few more nuggets from me, we'll be thinking the answer is yes. So I'm going to go through, this is the boring part, but I feel like I have to do it just so we know where we stand with Instagram, right? So monthly active users on Instagram, the amount of people, not just that have an account, but the amount of people that are actively using Instagram every single month. Does anyone want to take a stab at how many people that is? Dude, are you going to answer all my questions? So good. Your teacher's pet right now. Yeah, 1 billion people. So that's the amount of people in the world that are actively using Instagram every month. And there's a few more little nuggets here. In terms of the demographics, people that have internet access, how many of those people are on Instagram, which, as you can see, is quite a lot. We've got probably some of your students in that first age group and adult students, if you guys have adult students in that second age group, and then your young parents as well. A couple more stats, basically just to say that people are totally open to discovering new businesses, products and services on Instagram. They're not sort of tired of it just yet, as much as perhaps we are on Facebook. And on average, people spend just less than an hour on Instagram every day. That's insane to me. And then just this last one here is for those of you who have a local piano studio and maybe you're thinking, I don't know if I need to use social media because I'm not an online business. And also, why would I want to appeal to everyone in the world? Well, that little statistic is that any post that's location tagged is going to have 79% more engagement, which basically says that the people in your area will see your posts. So you are effectively broadcasting to your local people as much as internationally. Last one. So millennials, that's everyone from 12 all the way up to me. I lie, I'm 35. I just missed out on the millennial thing, really gutted. But millennials who swapped Facebook for Instagram in the last 2 years. So there's been a mass migration from Facebook to Instagram in this demographic. And do you want to guess? Bit of a random one. 11 million. So that's how many people have literally stopped using Facebook and started using Instagram instead. And as we saw with Facebook, in the beginning, it was this age group that took it up first, and then slowly everyone else started getting involved. I feel, and a lot of people feel, that the same thing is going to happen with this migration from Facebook to Instagram. So it's a worthwhile place, I think, for us to be sharing what it is that we do. So why are people migrating from Facebook to Instagram? I sound a bit anti-Facebook. I do use it. I just prefer Instagram. The reason why people are shifting from Facebook to Instagram seems to be that there's just less information to have to absorb. Facebook is 3 separate streams. So you've got your newsfeed in the middle. You've got your advertisements on the right. You've got your groups and pages on the left. You've got notifications at the top. And you've got ads, you've got memes, you've got so-and-so telling their life story. You've got 5 albums of so-and-so's baby. And there's just a lot happening. And to try and get your business message across, I was just saying in the mastermind before, it's a lot to have to deal with. And if you're someone that is not a social media specialist and you just own a business and you're trying to do some social media to get your business out there, the less we can sort of be competing with lots of people, the better. So Instagram is a single stream. It's just images. There's captions, obviously, as well. But if you're scrolling through, there's only one image at a time. So you can get someone's eyeballs on your picture and your picture alone for a split second. And the reason we're doing that is because we're trading 1,000 words for a picture. And here's a picture of me. Does any words that come to mind when you see that picture? Fun, happy, yes. Skills? Yeah, totally. Beach, I live at the beach. And Kauai. Somehow I knew that was going to be the sponsor. So I'm going to track back a little bit and allow me to Facebook at you guys for a little bit with a few thousand words about myself and my journey. Why am I here today? Well, my career journey started probably, like many of you guys, I trained the traditional piano grades, fabulous, when I was a teenager. And while I was doing that, I was sort of on the side trying to discover these more creative, I guess, natural skills, even though, we know that natural's not really a thing. But I was going to church, and there were the church keyboardists, and I'd see them playing for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes if everyone was feeling really religious for a whole song, and they would barely turn the page, or they wouldn't turn the page. And I thought this was kind of some ridiculous magic. And so I set about trying to figure out how they did that. So I developed an ability to play by ear, and I also playing from a lead sheet, songwriting, all the fun stuff. Then I went to university, I did a music degree, and it was there that I realized that my discovering all the creative stuff, plus having the traditional theory and exams and all that sort of thing, meant that I could transcribe stuff. And I didn't really realize this until I got to uni, and my tutors actually began to hire me to transcribe songs for them that they would then put into books and sell and make loads of money off. So that was fun. That was my first discovery of music publishing. And so that's where it all started. I went down to, after uni, I went to Christchurch, and I worked for a startup called Rockstar Recipes, developing a piano course down there that was also sold online, that taught 90,000 students worldwide. Never really topped that. that was the peak. And then I went over to the UK, and I worked for a music sales group over there. So they're the largest music publisher. You've probably seen their logo on all the back of your books, unless they're Hal Leonard. And I was a music editor there, so I got to make sheet music books and methods and work with all these arrangers and transcribers, and found out that being a music editor doesn't actually mean you get to transcribe. You just fix all the mistakes of the actual professional transcribers. So that was fun. But I did enjoy it. Then I came back to New Zealand, and there were no music publishers in New Zealand, weirdly. So I couldn't get a job, and I just decided to start my own music publishing business. And so I started Piano Picnic. And I wanted to make it about those skills that I found so difficult to find resources for when I was younger, and had to essentially try and figure out myself, which was learning by ear, lead sheets, all that sort of improvising, songwriting. The first thing that I came across when I was figuring out how to own a business and how to be a teacher at the same time, because I didn't really made books before, I'd never actually taught, was this idea that it's not about me. I am serving the customer. It's all about the customer or the student. And it's not about me. I read a book called The Death of the Ego, which sounds really bleak. And this was really difficult for me because I was used to being in a band, on a stage, performing, pacing. So this was quite hard, but eventually I was like, I'm taking this very seriously. It's not about me. So as a result, I never showed myself at all on my social media, on my website, in my emails. I was just this faceless person behind all these blogs that I would turn out, or all these videos that were just top down. And I never showed my face. I never, who is Piano Picnic, basically, at that point? And this is where I worked out of for the first couple of years. I call it a cabin office. And it was just a cabin where we fed a internet cable into so that I could do lessons. And I did piano lessons. You can kind of see my piano in there. Piano lessons out of there. And I'm showing this to you because I never shared this photo or anything similar to it because I was really embarrassed and I thought that was really unprofessional. So I never shared, this is the first time I've shared this photo publicly, and I tried to keep it a secret that I worked out of a cabin office, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this was nestled in between the mountain and the beach. It's not a bad place to work. I would sit on that deck to drink my coffee and my breaks. I mean, what's not to love? But I was so ashamed and I was busy trying to have this idea of what I thought a business owner was or what a piano teacher is supposed to be. So I was lamenting to my husband about how I seemed to be attracting, well, not really attracting, to be fair. I was getting students, but I felt like what I was trying to teach them, they weren't that enthused about. Because I had attracted people that just wanted to learn piano, not people that wanted to learn the type of piano that I wanted to teach. And I'd realized that by withholding myself from my social media and my website and all that stuff, I'd tried to appeal to everyone because I don't want to offend anyone with my cabin office. And in doing so, I'd pretty much appealed to no one. So my husband said to me after I said that I was a bit gutted, that no one seemed to be into what I wanted to teach. He said, you need to show people who you are. And that sort of had a thing with me. I was like, when did I lose myself in starting a business and being a teacher? And so I got a camera, I got my husband, put them together. I said, I hope you don't have any work on this afternoon because it's going to take a few hours. And I got home, went home, got changed because I don't normally wear that stuff. But we had this photo shoot on the beach. And this is the first sort of time that I'd had this idea that I was going to take a little keyboard that this doesn't work. It's not like a reflection on the brand. It's just a really old keyboard. That was okay to take to the beach. I don't murder keyboards. It's fine. But these photos I started putting out onto my website and putting onto my social media. And for one thing, I felt like for myself, it was just a massive sense of relief. And the people that were following me and the people that were finding me were like, who is this person? Who is this piano teacher that's on the beach? What are you about? And so as people started being curious about what it was that I was teaching and why I felt the need to essentially post more photos of me posing with pianos than actually playing piano. I don't know. So that was the beginning of last year, and it turned out that 2019 was the year that I not only had a business, but I started owning my business. And I started thinking about my values and what I want other people to know about what was important to me as a teacher, what's important to me in terms of what I want to give to people as students and apply liberally. So those values that I started trying to communicate were these. And there's some of the words you guys said about that photo before. Vibrant, fun. That's kind of what I specialize in, is teaching those skills. And inspiring. Just kind of, they're all similar sort of things. But these were the things that I was trying to communicate with the images that I was posting. And I was also telling people who Ruth was. So if they come, you're serving students, but at the same time, they're coming to a lesson with you. So it matters that they like you as a person, or they know other things that you're into as well, because we're all multi-dimensional humans. So I was sharing my joys. I was sharing the fact that I live at the beach, the fact that I love dressing up and thrift shopping, and that's sort of my favorite thing. If anyone wants to go thrift shopping later, I'm totally keen.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Ruth's vibe today in that speech. It was just fantastic seeing her on stage and the engagement that she got from our delegates. If you want to watch the whole thing and also take her Instagram challenge, which she offered towards the end of her presentation, which really got everyone actually using some of the strategies that she was teaching and thinking about how to do that, then make sure, of course, you get a virtual ticket. pianopivotlive.com/virtual is where you need to go. And you'll be able to access all 10 hours or thereabouts of all our workshops and keynote speeches in full HD with multi-camera angles, slides embedded, fantastic audio, clear video. You'll be able to feel like you are right there at Piano Pivot Live. You'll also get to download the full delegate playbook too in PDF format. So head to pianopivotlive.com/virtual, and Top Music Pro members, if you still haven't got your ticket, then remember that you get 50% off the virtual ticket price. Just head to the Academy and the discount section where you'll be able to find your coupon code. So next week on the podcast, we have someone who has already been on the podcast once, and I was just so excited to have speak at Piano Pivot Live. It is the one and only Dr. Anita Collins of TED Talk and YouTube fame, who came to share some information and helpful tips about the brain development and strategies that we can have a bit of a think about when we come to teaching our students. And I have to just tell you, there was quite a story involved with Anita's presentation because it actually almost didn't happen due to the Australian bushfires. So I'll tell you that story when I see you next week. I'm Tim Topham, and you've been listening to the Topcast from topmusic.co, and I'll see you next time. For more information about this episode and to find out how to enhance your own teaching, visit topmusic.co. You'll find everything you need for your studio, from lesson plans to cheat sheets, quick win teaching ideas, and guides on how to build your teaching business. Plus, you'll be connected to a global community of the world's top music teachers. And when you're ready, join hundreds of other teachers around the world by becoming a Top Music Pro member and get access to all our bonus content and courses, including an extended cut of today's episode. And don't forget to follow topmusic.co on social media and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to it. That's all for today. We'll see you in the studio.